Okay. And the topic, given is very contemporary one, the life skills and the managerial acumen. Now, before I start, what I was speaking on this topic, now look at, the collaboration between ISTD and IMK. Now that itself, speaks volumes about the type of, things, to come in the article in the times to protocol come as such. What made IMK to, collaborate with what ISTD? ISTD, deals with what training and development. And my young friends, all of you are aware that absolute technology is dangerous, but absolute human resources is disastrous. And that's what, what I call ISTD is what I call, involved with, 24/7, 365 days. They're doing their best, what called in updating the skills of the people and around. And probably, Professor Chandrasekhar sir and his team at IMK too felt that, given the emphasis on upskilling, reskilling, updating, and all that, they should join hands. I'm happy that ISTD opened a student chapter at what called IMK. Now, next slide, sir. Now, before we talk about, life skills, sir, I have 40 minutes now, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, first of all, what is skill? Skill is, normally when we use the word, it refers to, something whereby we are able to do a job or activity, well. Okay. Now, what are my life skills? Look at these words, two words, life skills. Every one of you, my young friends, I'm sure all of you, love to lead a successful life in the corporate as well as, in a personal life. Okay. Now, we were earlier talking about, work-life balance. Nowadays, we are talking about work-life integration. So you wish to what I call, succeed on the personal front as well as on the what I call the professional fronts. So that's where, what I call life skills, comes into operation. Skills, life. What do you mean life skills? They refer to what I call certain psychosocial competencies, or you call them, interpersonal skills that will help us, taking informed decisions, solve problems, bonding in the group, communicate effectively, able to, overcome the vertical stress. Right now, all of us, we are, going through a lot of stress, because of the pandemic, second wave, people are talking about, third wave and all that. And down the line, you're all what I call, would be managers. So you have to what I call manage the people. Nowadays, people are talking about psychological, safety, the buzzword. Gone are those days when we used to talk about only physical well-being. Now, mental well-being. Earlier, we were talking concerned only with the employee or the organization. But maybe the time has come where we need to what I call, care about employees' family also. Maybe the society at large and as such. Now, life skills, either they can be diverted towards personal or towards others or to change the surrounding environment. If some of you wish to become a social entrepreneur. Now look at Sridhar Vembu, the CEO of Zoho Corporation, which has representation in more than 15 countries. What made Sridhar sir to come to a small village in Tamil Nadu and set up his what called corporate office, wherein his motto or his purpose is to train the young engineering graduates by giving them a stipend and then subsequently what absorbing them. Now, for me, he's not merely an entrepreneur, but a social entrepreneur. Now, when the industry is complaining of employability skills, here is a man who can not only provide you what we call employability skills, he'll make you employable and also what we call employ him. If every one of you wish to achieve success, either in the personal front or the professional front, life skills are very, very, very important. Probably that's what made Professor Chandrasekhar sir to give me this topic. Now, who developed these life skills as such? Though we have been talking about it in HR, it is a UNICEF with the Minister of Youth and Sport of Azerbaijan. Now, why life skills are important? Professor Sharif sir has already mentioned about that. Today, we are in a VUCA world. Volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. I never thought as a professor or as a teacher that I'll be interacting with you all, on the virtual mode. Probably I expected Professor Chandrasekhar sir to invite me to Kerala, the God's land, spend some time, with my young friends as such. But this is a reality, whether you like it or not. Now, these life skills, help you to develop your personality, your talent, your mental and physical ability so that down the line, when you get into corporate, you are able to provide an environment where people give their best. Sir, next slide. What for? No, what is the purpose of what I call going for life skills? Life skills contribute to the society and helps you to what I call achieve success. When people talked about life skills, the target was only 10 to 24 years. Some of you must have heard about demographic dividend. Having a young population, what to call and our country is lucky enough to have this demographic dividend. But as a student of economics, let me warn you that unless until these youngsters, that means you all get an opportunity to what I call contribute to the gross democratic product, the so-called demographic dividend will result in demographic disaster. That's the reason that each one of you, should try to what I call upskill what I call yourself. Probably, one of you might say, sir, I'm good. So what? You need to be better. If you're better, you need to be the best. If you're the best, outstanding. If you're outstanding, excellent. If you're excellent, wow. That's what, we talk of, what I call total quality management. When people talk about, life skill, what is their, what I call, interest? What is the outcome, they're expecting? They would like you to what I call equip with the fundamental skills so that you can become productive adulthood. When you grow, not only you grow yourself, but you grow what I call others as such. Now, these life skills will help you, what I call in different ways in managing stress, to feel empathy. But let me tell you, empathy has become an obsolete word. Nowadays, if you are empathetic or mere empathetic, that will not cut the ice. You need to be compassionate. Empathy means when you feel the pain, but when you become compassionate, you're trying to what I call remove the pain or alleviate the pain as such. Now, the moot question arises as to what is so special about these life skills? We have been talking about hard skills, we have been talking about soft skills and all that. It is so special because they are all based in evidence, based on psychosocial methodology, mindfulness, resilience, based activities. These life skills will help you to understand first yourself, how to get along with others, and help you to what I call achieve success on the personal as well as the professional front. So next. Now, these life skills, for the benefit of, my young friends, I have categorized them into what I call three. The first one is self-awareness. Second is interpersonal skills. And the third one is what I call thinking skills. Look at the first one, self-awareness. Being aware of what I call yourself. As a managerial material, before you are expected to what I call manage others, you need to what I call understand yourself. Are you emotionally balanced? Are you compassionate? Are you a good listener? What about your emotional quotient? Do you care for yourself? Are you positive? Now, when you come to what I call interpersonal skills, in fact, whenever my young friends ask me, now what are the skills important to become a great manager? I think this is one of them, the most important one. Of course, others are the business acumen, the communication skills, ever willingness to learn and grow, being a team player and all that. But interpersonal skills is very, very important. When you look at industrial, revolution, there were processes and the manager was expected to, get, the maximum or the optimum from each and every one. But today we're in a digital what I call economy. In the digital economy, nobody would like to be managed as such. In fact, manage is what I call a bad word. Your job is here to what I call to inspire. Some of my friends from HR, sometimes they get confused between inspiration and motivation. Both are different. Inspiration is what I call external. As a manager, what is that you can do to make an environment wherein the people come and give their best? Oh, Monday, we'll love to go to our office on that. On the other hand, motivational skills is what I call insight. Of course, look at what I call Mangaldeep Agarbatti people, they go matchbox free. If you look at fire in the belly as a talent, and if someone wishes to what I call ignite that fire because the matchbox is free from Mangalbati Agarbatti, let me caution you all, the fire will not last. It has to be from within. So as a manager, because thanks to Dhoni and other people, nowadays team, the concept of team is very well. Together, everyone achieves more. Coming together is beginning. Being together is what I call success, progress, but working together is success. If you have to get the maximum from your what I call team members, look at the Australian team. You need to have what I call empathy, listening. I always tell my young friends, a good manager has to be a good listener. 90% of your associates' problems will be solved if you simply listen to them. Interpersonal effectiveness. Are you good at what well understanding others, handling disputes, managing relationships? Some of you must have heard about the famous 75-year-old, Harvard study, carried over what well, about 3 generations. They were trying to find out, what makes people happy and what well healthy. And ultimately, they found it is nothing but your quality relationships. Networking and net worth. Most of us, we focus on what we call networking. But let me tell you, networking refers only to the number of contacts. It is not your net worth. The net worth is in terms of, the rapport, the relationship, what call you develop. Would you like to what call, address yourself I or we? Do you frequently, say thank you? Okay. Now, how many times, you approach, associates, could you please? How many times what call you offer your services saying, may I help you? How many times what call you appreciate, you did a great job? But last but not the least, how many of us have the guts or courage to say, I admit I made a mistake? All these, what I call 6 words, I keep sharing with my students, and I call them as 6-word human relationship model. We, thank you, could you please, you did a great job, okay, may I help you, and I admit I made a mistake. In fact, if Brother Chandrasekhar sir, permits me, I'll say the whole concept of management revolves around relationships. You manage your relationships, you manage people. The third one and the most important one in what I call VUCA world of today is what I call thinking skills. All of us, heard about artificial intelligence, machine learning. People were, what I call cautioning us, scaring us that after 2022 or after 2025, the human beings will be replaced by artificial intelligence or machine learning. But being from the HR fraternity, let me, assure you all that human beings will not be replaced by machine learning or artificial intelligence. They might facilitate, but there is a caution. What is the caution? As long as we continue to invest in our emotional intelligence, that is understanding us, understanding others, and develop our critical and creative thinking. The traditional thinking, will not what will do. So when I say thinking wills, in terms of setting goals, your decision making, your problem solving, critical creative thinking, etc., etc. Next slide, please. Now, what is important? What is the importance of it? Why should we all be, what I call concerned about, life skills? Professor Sharif has already mentioned we are in a constantly changing environment. We all know, as a student of management, why we are called inexact science, unlike natural sciences. We are called inexact science because we are dealing with a constantly changing, times. Okay, now look at the what I call, virtual mode. I never dreamt of. I'm 64. For the last, 30 years, I'm the what I call teaching line. I never thought, there will be a day where I'll not be able to what I call, look at my students, understand their body language, see if I can read their emotions and accordingly what I'll connect. But that's a reality. Okay. Now, ability to deal with the stress. Today, many of us, we are undergoing a lot of stress. Now, especially when I think, from your managerial, what I call, point of view, that many of your employees are undergoing what I call stress. They not only expect the organization to take care of themselves, but their family members also. Now, in case what I call, whether you're in the line management or when I call the staff in the HR, you need to have what I call people's management skills. You must be in a position to what I call, take care of your people. So that's where, these life skills come in very handy to handle your people what I call successfully. Now people are talking about new jobs. Old jobs, will go away. And the new jobs will come, with their what we call own pressures, and you need to be flexibility. Couple of years back, we were talking about fixed mindset. Then people said growth mindset because our nation is going to be growing. But let me tell you, even the growth mindset also in a situation like this will not suffice. Today, what you require is the what we call a fluid mind, a flexible mind. Observe, adopt, and what we call improve. That should be our what we call motto. Keep your eyes and ears what we call open. 24/7, 365 days. Things are changing without giving an iota of notice to us. That's fine here. Okay. We'll focus on what we call life skills. What are the benefits? From the individual point of view, you have new ways of what we call thinking and problem solving. You all managers down the line need to have one Kohinoor diamond in your pocket. What is that Kohinoor diamond? For me, that Kohinoor diamond is nothing but trust. That trust you would enjoy of your associates, of your partners. Now, when I say trust, I refer to what are three kinds of trust. Number one, contractual trust. Second, communication trust. Third, competency trust. What is contractual trust? Some urgent work to be attended to. You promise something, and based on which, what people give their best, but you fail to keep up your promise. Second, communication trust. My well-wisher, Professor Ranjan Das from IIM Calcutta, once he told me, Jagan, communication is the hallmark of management. No communication, no management. But when you communicate, do you mean it in letter and spirit? Could they take it what I call, seriously? And the third one and the most important one is what I call in the current, what I call situation, Professor Chandrasekhar sir, is interested in that, is called competency trust. Are you competent? Sometimes when you feel that some of your associates are reporting to some other manager when they have, some problems or guidance, you must be wondering, how come, associates who are supposed to report to you are consulting other manager? That's a time for you to what I call to reflect upon or ponder over. Maybe you're not in a position to resolve their issues. But let me add, if you are competent, that's not enough. You must make your associates what I call competent. Okay. Second, recognize the impact of their actions. All of you will be taking decisions. Taking decisions by virtue of your position is easy. But look at the impact, the possible impact on your people and what called on the organization. Are you confident when you speak to what called your people, when you communicate what called your expectations to them? Are you able to share with them a vision which is compelling one, a purpose which helps their personal goals also to accomplish, and develop a greater sense of self-awareness? Once you develop life skills, you are in a better position to know about yourself and about your people. And as a manager, what more you require? We are able to what I call understand their emotions, their aspirations, their desires, and accordingly what I call manage them. I'm sure your organizations will go to what I call places. Now, what is the benefit for employers? Today, you refer to what I call any report, either Aspiring Minds or FICCI or CII. Almost all of them, they complain that a major chunk of, what I call management graduates are not employable. I'm not talking about IIMs and the premier management institutes like IMK and all that. But yes, when you look at, Tier 2, Tier 3 institutes. So these life skills definitely what I call improve the employability of the what I call students. And I'm sure employers will be too happy to what I call employ you. Next slide, sir. Yes. Now, let's look at the what I call second aspect, managerial acumen. Underline that word acumen. What is acumen here? It's the ability to make good judgments and take quick decisions. Underline that word quick. Being able to make judgments is not a great job. By virtue of the quality education you are getting at IMK, I have not even an iota of doubt about that. But what about taking quick decisions? Now, when we are talking about decisions, I would like to share with you one three-way test. All of you must have heard about Chanda Kochar madam, who worked hard to take the ICSA to the pinnacle, but see the kind of ignominy what she faces. So in this regard, I would like to share with you so that you take right decisions, correct decision. Three-way test. Number one, fair. FAIR, fair. When I say fair, I'm not referring to fair and lovely. Okay. When I say fair, are you fair in terms of taking decisions? You're not helping your relatives, or you're not helping your friends. Look at what called Satyam computers, where Ramaling Raju sir tried to help his children. Second, am I legally correct? Whenever you take a decision, you must ensure that your decision is legally correct. And the third one, and the most important one, if tomorrow your decision is known in the public domain, how the people will react to that. You all heard about Professor Rajat Gupta. We all were proud of him. One Indian who rose to become the managing director of McKinsey. But one small mistake, insider trade, what will happen? That's the reason, when you read leadership, please do remember that integrity is the most important, characteristic, be it for a leader or be it for a manager. Now, personal acumen. Personal acumen means you are able to see yourself, you are able to see your team, you are able to see your organization, and also the society at large. Now, why should we talk about managerial acumen? Today, we are going through what called the pandemic, the toughest situation. It's very, very important, for the organizations to focus on managerial acumen. Make sure that all the managers, possess this. Why? In the latest, Gallup survey, they found that out of 5 managers, only 1 is engaged. Please reflect upon that. Why I'm saying this is Gallup, couple of years back, established beyond doubt that outstanding performance of organization depends on outstanding performance of the people, because all other factors are available, accessible, affordable. But outstanding performance of the people depends on how strong and vibrant the work environment. And how strong and vibrant work environment depends on you as a manager. Now, given this importance of the manager, who plays a key role in getting the best out of his people, the one who plays a key role in engaging the people, if he doesn't possess the acumen, the organization will go to dogs. I'm sorry. Now, let's reflect upon one question. Why many managers struggle, even fail in their role? Like you must have heard about, Professor project, Aristotle of Google, when they try to, find out, why, some teams, succeed, other teams fail and all that. Many managers, struggle or fail because they lack the managerial acumen. Either they may be not able to understand themselves or their people or their organization. Now, let me tell you. Sometimes, many of us, we get carried away. One of our associate or subordinate has done an excellent job. You promote him. So there was one sales executive at Thiruvananthapuram. So he was doing outstanding job. Every quarter he was crossing the targets and all that. So the boss was so much impressed. He brought him to to the head office as a divisional manager. As a divisional manager, he was supposed to coordinate the activities of sales executives. And this chap was good only as a sales executive. He was not good at coordination. He was not good at people's management skills. So within 6 months, he failed and he had to be reverted back to where he was. So you managers down the line will be doing two jobs at a time. Number one is the task-oriented one, attending to the daily activities. And the second and the most important one is you lead and you manage the people. But when I'm talking about lead, first lift yourself before thinking of what we call lifting others. It is the people's management skills where most of the managers are what called struggling. Sir, next. Now, what are the competencies? If we have to do well, because we are talking about life skills, and life skills, we said certain psychosocial competencies, we said. Now, let us understand the difference between capability and competency. Capability, I'm sure all my dear students of IMK, they're all quite capable. But when can I say that they are competent? When they display the desired behavior. Underline these two words, desired behavior. What do I mean by desired behavior? The behavior which makes his or her associates to give their best to the organization. So the competencies like managing and measuring work, conflict management, inspiring others, informing and developing. In this regard, I would like to remind you about what Dr. T.V. Rao has once said, looking at you youngsters. He wants you all to work 24/7, 365 days on 3 C's. Number 1, culture. Number 2, commitment. Number 3, competency. We all know Rome is not built in a day. So, are you there to build a collaborative culture? The kind of collaboration just now we have seen between IMK and what we call ISTD. Are you providing or are you creating a competitive environment? Or are you what we call creating a collaborative environment? That sort of culture, not a fixed or growth, but a fluid mindset, an agile culture, a resilient culture, a culture where people can depend on others, a culture where people can trust each other. The second one, commitment to the organization. It's not that easy. It's through your what we call actions. It's difficult, but it's not what we call impossible. And the third one, and the most important from the current point of view, is competency. First of all, are you competent? And once you are competent, you have to make what we call others competent. Because people say, till you become a leader, you grow. But once you become a manager or leader, your job is to what we call grow others. Of course, what is that organization can do? They can map the managerial acumen vis-a-vis what we call jobs, assess regularly, try to find out what we call some gaps wherever they are, and then develop programs, learning and development. Learning and development. In fact, Dr. T.V. Rao says the real HR is HRD, human resource development, not mundane, administrative routine functions. The real job of the HR, sir, says human resource development. And when he says human resource development, I would like to refer to Sadhguru's concept of human potential, human possibility, not human resource. When you say resource, you are pointing out at limitation. When you say human possibility, because for me, I'm not an engineer, machines have installed capacity. Machines have installed capacity, whereas people have kinetic capacity. The more you invest, the more you become what we call productive. But of course, some cynic might ask me, sir, you are asking us to what we call invest in our people. We train them and we develop them. And suppose if they leave, I said, fine. You don't invest, but they decide to what we call stay back. Yes. Next slide, sir. Yes, as a manager down the line, if you wish to what I call, develop what I call acumen among your associates, also that have a what I call a proactive approach. Reactive approach, has gone by. Provide opportunities, for the employees to show their potential. There's a beautiful, book, if you're given a time, I want you people to read That Drive by Daniel Pink, where he talks about three principal what I call motivational elements. If you wish to what I call inspire your people so that they get motivated, is the first one is what I call, mastery. Allow the people to, become what I call expert. The second is what I call, autonomy. Give them, freedom to explore and experiment. Let them fail. Be there to what I call to protect. And last but not the least is what I call purpose. Are you giving them a meaningful purpose? Let me tell you a small story. There was a big, hospital, known to be very good. So when TV9 crew, went there, they've interviewed all the, doctors, technical personnel and all. They were almost about to wind up. Then the head of the TV crew saw one man in cramped clothes lean to a wall. And he goes to him and says, "What's up?" The man doesn't respond. The second time he says, "What's up?" Then this time he looks at himself and looks at the wall on which he was leaning. He says, "I'm the one who saved 100 to 150 lives per day." They were shocked. An ordinary man in cramped clothes saving 100 to 150 lives? On reflection, they find that he was standing outside intensive care unit and he was a janitor. And the importance of janitor and the hygienic conditions in ICU. So that means the management of the hospital and their managers in general succeeded in drilling in the mota dimag of, I'm sorry to use that word, the local word, in the minds of the people that the hygienic conditions. Could we make each and every one in our organization to see the big picture and make them, feel that they are part of it? Okay, but here I would like to, make a distinction between a manager and a great manager. Some of you might be trying to be goody goody, cheeky cheeky and all that. Okay, right? As a manager, you must help your people to overcome their weaknesses. But there is a limit. There's a limit beyond which I think you should not. You have to leverage the strengths of the people because time is running out. Today, the international management mantra is cost, quality, and service. There's a beautiful, shloka, Sanskrit shloka. Let me read out and then explain the meaning. Vastur mulyam pramanena sevena samayena mitavyayena amulyam bhavati. Vastur mulyam, the value of a good or service. Pramanena, quality. Sevena, service. Mitavyena, least cost. Amulyam bhavati, priceless. Cost, quality, service. Today, all other factors, be it technology, be it money, you name any resource, available, accessible, affordable. So the only one resource which can provide you a cutting edge in a competitive world of today is your human resource. So how good you are in nurturing your talent, in developing your talent, in retaining your talent, in empowering your talent, even energizing your talent, empathizing with your talent, and encouraging your talent. That's where the greatness of our great managers. They follow the policy of tough empathy, not simply empathy. Right. So it's critical to teach, these skills before asking the people to perform. If sometimes you Google, the Gallup's 12 employment engagement questions, you'll come across, do I have all the tools or techniques? Is there somebody to recognize? Some kind of that. Every human being, including me, we crave for recognition. We crave for appreciation. So are you there to monitor your people? Are you there to understand, their problems, their prospects? Are you there to resolve them? There and then itself. We're in a global pandemic. We never saw this is coming. Each and every employee will look towards you for solutions. You have to figure out the new technologies, how to engage the remote workers and all that. Next, sir. Right. So, my dear young friends, we have been talking for quite some time. We have been walking together for quite some time. But now it's time to what I call walk the talk. It's time for what I call action. Many of what I call employees what I call they're struggling. They need to be what I call ensured that my huna, you are there. You means you on behalf of the what I call organization. Whether you buy their what I call their emotions, find it, figure it out, somehow what I call make it work. Assure them that you are there, to take care of their physical and mental well-being, and that you can do that only when you work on your life skills, your self-awareness, your what I call interpersonal skills, and your what I call thinking skills. When I was of your age, people were talking about intelligent quotient, IQ. Then people started talking about EQ, emotional quotient. When people, like Chandrasekhar sir and what I call, me, we started talking about spiritual quotient, taking care of, people and all that. But then, about a couple of years back, I started talking about what is called AQ, adversity quotient. In the normal times, any Tam and Dick can work. But in what I call, adverse times, in a times like this, are you there to what I call inspire the people? Are you there to what I call provide them the required environment wherein, despite being in a tough situation, they can give their best? So my message to you, while leaving, before I invite questions, is number one, use the 3R approach, which I have been using for the last 20 years. The first R says read, reflect, and relate. I'm sure my colleagues at IMK, they're doing their best. But to enable them to what ensure that they have created, communicated, deliver the value, you adopt this approach. Whenever they teach you some concept, you read it, understand, then reflect upon it. For example, people say talk about delegation. Refer to what your mother does at home. When you reflect, you understand the concept. Then relate how you can use this concept down the line in the corporate. The second one, people like me from HR, we talk of so many skills, this skill, that skill, and all that. Okay, fine. But for me, what I've learned over time is that there is one skill which we fail to emphasize. That is called improve. Improve the way you perceive the people. Improve the way you understand the people. Improve the way you manage the people. Improve the way you work yourself. 24/7, 365 days. Third one, I've already shared with you my 6-word relationship model. We, thank you. Could you please? May I help you? You did a great job. I admit I made a mistake. And the last one, please don't hesitate. Some of us feel that, when we, admit our mistakes, that we are exposing our vulnerability. But let me tell you, as a HR professor, let your people know that you are vulnerable. Let your people know that you don't have all the answers, because that makes them feel confident. Oh, so it's okay not to know what I call, everything. But at the same time, they are willing to what I call learn and improve, for which you as a manager have to create an environment. People talk about HIV. Today we are talking about, Corona and all that, but successfully, I was told Shailaja ma'am, what I call Kerala, successfully what I call, handled, COVID. But I am worried about 2 syndromes. I don't know how many of you heard about that. One is IKE, other is IDWKE. What is IKE? I know everything. But the second one, I don't wish to know anything. Please have a learning mindset. When I was in my 10th class, we had Dr. Kripanandam sir as our English teacher. So being, from a what I call Telugu background, I used to have, a little bit difficulty. Whenever I used to ask, a doubt, people used to laugh. But I used to feel very bad about that. So once Dr. Kripanandam sir, called me and told me, Jagan, if you ask, they think you are a stupid at this moment. But if you fail to ask, you'll remain a stupid throughout your life. So have that inquisitive mind. If you want me to name the other important, what I call, skill or quality, I say curiosity. Be curious to know the people, to know the things. When you are curious, you acquire knowledge. When you acquire knowledge, you become confident. When you are confident, you do things in a fantastic manner. Learn, unlearn, relearn. First time I met Professor Chandrasekhar sir at a HR conclave. Okay, I have learned, something from him. But when he gave me a topic, a contemporary topic, I started unlearning myself. And today I came to you, all with little bit, relearning. But I'm sure when I go back, once again, I start, this process. And lastly, I would like to leave a message, which Indra Nooyi ma'am, couple of years back, when she was in India to receive an award from NDTV, none other than Pranabda, she gave this excellent message to the youngsters. Be a student throughout your life. I'm 64, but even now, Chandrasekhar sir knows that I make points, I make notes. I took extensive notes of Professor Chandrasekhar sir at the HR conclave. Be a student. Second, throw yourself. Whatever you do, give your best. Manasa, Vacha, Karmena, in letter and spirit. And last but not the least, help others rise. That's a duty. Look at the trees. They all grow fruits. Who eats the fruits? We eat the fruits. Look at the rivers. They all flow, but we drink the water. Look at the cow. It gives the milk. We drink the milk. In Sanskrit, people say, Paropakaratam idam shariram. And you, being a managerial material, a future worker managers, I expect you people to work towards compassionate capitalism. Even Nadamurthy sir, he was a great, supporter of socialism. But after a bitter experience in a socialist country, he felt that neither socialism nor Professor Nadamurthy sir, like me, he was a great, supporter of, socialism, communism, and all that. But after a bitter experience, he lost confidence, like me, in socialism as well as capitalism. So what he and me, we talk of compassionate capitalism. And I want my managers, my future managers, to be compassionate, not simply empathetic. Let them be good, let them lift themselves, but after that, let them lift others. Look at the ant. There were 3 ants. Sir, I'll take just 2 minutes more, sir. So 2 ants, what they were talking to each other. One ant said, I wish to become a richest ant. The other ant said, I would like to become the fastest ant. But some other ant, who joined just, she said, I would like to become a butterfly. So it's time for us, whether we wish to remain as an ant or we wish to become a butterfly. But I'm sure all the butterflies may not succeed. Some are able to fly and some are not able to fly. But I feel my students at IMK they're all butterflies. It's time for you to fly.